If the urban is the result of continuous construction and reconstruction, based on redundancy and reuse, the built environment is never fully stabilized and completed. The countryside shares this unstable quality, except that the time period of the process becomes longer, and the scale of impact is often greater. The cycle of evaluating, defining, and facilitating the turnover of the countryside also tends to be more complex. This is because it requires consideration of the wider natural system, including the characteristics and growth cycles of plants, food chains, and habitats of animals. And, where there are traces of urbanization, it involves the same considerations of multiple interests as in the city. Should government departments, non-government organizations, or individuals intervene in problems that occur in the countryside? It is difficult to decide. How to carry out reforestation? For On Shan, it is hard to give an answer. On Shan is an extension of the Sha Tin New Town in Hong Kong, and the country park in which it is located covers an area of 2,880 hectares. Initially caused by industrialization brought about by the iron ore mining industry in the last century, the landscape change of On Shan has gone through various stages of destruction, restoration, and re-restoration. Each phase of transformation involves multiple human demands in conflict with the laws of nature, as well as multiple conflicts of interest within the human race. At the same time, the transformation of the dominant players in each period has led us to consider the possibilities and importance of public-private partnerships. The influencing elements of this conflict and cooperation depend on the local natural conditions and cultural lineage. The On Shan iron mine landscape is a typical urban historical landscape, a product of transnational urbanization. Its history can be traced back to the early 20th century. The On Shan iron mine is positioned on the southwestern side of On Shan within the New Territories. This mine lies within the contact zone between igneous rock and granite, where ancient geological movements have resulted in metamorphic rocks and minerals that have endowed On Shan with abundant reserves of iron ore. 1905, the government received an application from a foreign businessman seeking permission to conduct mining exploration. During the Japanese occupation of Hong Kong, open-pit mining operations were initiated at Maui Iron Mine by the Japanese. Subsequently, in 1953, a joint venture was established with Japan and On Shan, whereby Japan agreed to provide financial and technical support for constructing an ore concentrator, as well as leasing a complete ore processing facility to enhance iron content for export purposes. Over time, various residential areas such as peak districts, mid-levels districts, and docklands districts emerged in On Shan alongside signs of industrialization and urbanization. Unfortunately, this progress led to significant destruction of natural vegetation, resulting in certain forest lands becoming barren. However, from 1964 to 1976, as a result of the deteriorating global, regional, and ecological conditions, On Shan iron ore gradually vanished. The demolition of coastal settlements left hundreds of residents in the Peak District and mid-levels respectively displaced. With the closure of On Shan iron mine and the subsequent development of On Shan New Town, On Shan's industrial heritage, infrastructure, and settlement have become largely forgotten in Hong Kong. In 1979, most natural areas within On Shan were designated as country parks for public enjoyment. After decades of detachment from its past, the On Shan settlement has begun reconnecting its landscape with its history, heritage, and stories passed down by previous generations of villagers. The cultural legacy lies in community members' mutual benefits during local economic development while also emphasizing landscape ecology conservation efforts. Social organizations involved in preservation are often comprised of villagers from the On Shan mining area who belong to neighborhood institutions. According to Beaumont, These organizations provide long-term services that serve as the final link for social capital within urban communities, playing an essential role in bonding and bridging social capital, both within cities and their surrounding areas. Reforestation efforts in On Shan and other regional changes are primarily led by NGOs, including FBOs. The mining activities have resulted in significant environmental impacts and alterations to the landscape. Presently, remnants of exploration can still be observed in On Shan, including trenches, as well as staircases and cliffs formed by open-pit mining. These operations have contributed to slope instability and frequent landslides. Furthermore, soil and water pollution were caused by land transportation and the disposal of mining waste during that period. Additionally, On Shan experiences an annual mountain fire event, with the 2020 blaze on Luqiao Mountain lasting for 20 hours, resulting in vegetation turning brown and black due to oxygen deprivation. Therefore, it is imperative to promptly establish a comprehensive ecological restoration plan for On Shan. A member from an NGO in the On Shan informed us that both the government and NGOs from outside of On Shan have been actively engaged in reforestation efforts within On Shan for approximately a decade, with the objective of restoring some of the natural ecology that was previously disrupted by mining operations. For example, since 2006, Hang Seng Bank and the Conservancy Association began to jointly plant trees in On Shan Country Park. But in the previous afforestation campaign, in order to quickly establish vegetation coverage on the poor hillside, more species with cold tolerance and rapid growth characteristics were selected. According to him, about 6 to 8% of them are not native trees in On Shan, such as Brisbane box and Taiwan acacia. These non-native trees can't survive well in On Shan, and there are a large number of periodic deaths, and there is a decline in the ecological restoration work in the middle and later period. In view of the problems such as death, aging, exclusion of local plants, and inability to provide good habitat for local wildlife in the late stage of reforestation, AFCD launched the Country Parks Plantation Enrichment Program, PAP, in 2009, aiming to increase the biological diversity and ecological value of foreign plantations in country parks, improve the sustainability of the plantation and the health of the internal trees, to reduce the possibility of pest outbreaks. Moreover, on March 12, 2020, a fire burning for 20 hours occurred in Luqiao Mountain, On Shan, which resulted in the destruction of some previous reforestation work. Under the approval of AFCD, the Social Service Department of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Hong Kong and On Shan Exploration Museum participated in the Country Parks Plantation Enrichment Program in 2020 and began to jointly plant trees in Luqiao Mountain in On Shan Country Park. The purpose is to use local species to continuously dilute the alien species planted in the previous afforestation campaign and save the ecological losses caused by mountain fires. The NGO member said in his personal name that their planting range is not only in Luqiao Mountain, but also other green lands near the peak area of On Shan. Their work of diluting foreign trees is mainly through felling foreign trees and planting native species. The trees that have been cut will be stacked in the forest to form a microbial environment to improve the biodiversity of the country park. The members of On Shan Exploration Museum are not limited to the villagers in the peak area of On Shan, and their work is carried out with the support of the government. The government will issue NGO a list of trees that belong to the local area of On Shan and are suitable for planting every year, and the Taitong Nursery affiliated to AFCD will directly provide the seedlings of trees included in the list. At the same time, NGO is only allowed to plant trees provided by the government. This activity will continue until 2025. Under the organization of On Shan Exploration Museum, tree planting activities are also open to the public. The repair of natural ecology in On Shan has achieved remarkable results, and almost no traces of the fire can be seen. However, the historical sites of On Shan Iron Mine are not effectively preserved, but gradually replaced by natural ecology.